Hello, hello, hello. Welcome everyone to the Football Amigo show. Yes, it's your boy Mide back. The three amigos are back. We are back together again. We have Amigo Ayo and Amigo Sam. Sam, how are you doing this evening?
Doing well. Liverpool won the only red team in Premier League.
Oh, there we go. We're
Excited about
started
the
with the
win.
banter. Ayo, how about you, amigos? How you doing this evening?
Just happy,
Oh,
and I bring my condolences and my love to all the Manchester United fans. Just trust me from experience. It gets better. It gets better. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for the advice. Amigos, it's good to have you all back again. We're excited to have another wonderful show for you. We have a packed show to talk about today. Mostly focusing on the results from week 2 of the Premier League. A lot of soccer going on, a lot of football going on, based on wherever you're from geographically. And of course, amigos, like, share, and subscribe. Give us your comments about how you've enjoyed the week 2 games. What are the highlights for you? Things that we thought were interesting calls from a refereeing standpoint. I know there were some games that had interesting ref calls. Of course, talk about your predictions about week 3. What games are you looking forward to and why? And of course, who would you like to buy to make your transfer window better than any other team in the Premier League? We'll be happy to hear those. So we'll start with week 2 review of games. Aya, we'll start with you. Arsenal, they played against Aston Villa and they actually played really well. Talk to us about it. What did you like about their game?
It was very competitive. The more I watch Aston Villa, the more confident I am in my prediction that they will finish third place. They're an absolutely fascinating team to watch. They have some talents that I didn't even like pay attention to, like Mr. Rogers guy, who's one of the best ball carriers I've seen like in a while. I don't, he just snuck up on me, and he had a wonderful game. And you can tell that Aston Villa have a strong way of playing. They attacked us, but we were resilient and we had a wonderful defense. We had five PFAs, players that won the PFA awards of Team of the Year, and three of those were our goalkeeper and our two centre back pairings. And during that game, they showed why. And so, based on that, we were able to resist a lot of pressure from Aston Villa, and our boy Trossard came on, our most reliable Partey sealed the game up. So it was a wonderful game, wonderful moment. Aston Villa is definitely a team to be taken seriously, but we're Arsenal and we win. Yeah. Mhm.
Okay,
what's up with all
I
the accolades without trophy? Five
oh,
PFA player.
The trophy comes. It's not about the destination, my friends. It's about the journey. I'm here for the journey, and I can see the
Amigos, let us know what
milestones.
you
Yeah,
think.
I can
Mm,
see the milestones, and I'm just encouraged. I'm happy. Yeah, yeah.
speaking
How
about
many?
milestones,
Mhm.
speaking about milestones, can we just give an applause to David Raya's save? Remember the double save? That was
Oh yeah.
world class level. That was world class. I mean, not only did he do the fingertip save to the bar, he got up. There was a header from Watkins, which, by the way, Watkins had a game to forget. Him missing two chances, open goal. That's one thing. But him having a header and the goalkeeper's quick reaction, it was fantastic.
Yeah, I don't really agree with a lot of the 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 vitriol going Watkins' way. On his part, he came in late from the cup and he's not quite up to speed. So there's that's telling he's a little bit rusty. But I think the second one was a wonderful attempt with a diving header. Raya was just a match to it. And the first chance, I really do think it was a foul that led to it. I think the attacking player had too much of hands on the defender, and I think that should count for something. But in the end, like he should at least hit the target, but it was still a wild miss. But the header, I think, as a striker, hindsight is 2020. If he had scored, that'd have been a wonderful finish. Uh, Raya was just up to it for that shot. So they had a lot of chances, or they created a lot of great plays. The first one we gave them, That was more. I think that was still a foul. And the second one, that was just a wonderful opportunity that was met by a more wonderful save. I think they're a great team, and I think they will only get better. I think everything they do, like what really impressed me about Aston Villa from my perspective, was the fact that whenever they opened up Arsenal, you could see what the play was. So it wasn't flukes, it wasn't a happenstance. These were rehearsed plays that opened up the team. Like a Rogers guy, he made Partey look silly, and we were going to be like, "Oh, Partey's old," but he also made Declan look silly. He also made Odegaard look silly. So I was like, 3 for 3. Like, what can you say? And so he's a wonderful talent, and some of their ball progression was excellent, but I do think that the last when they gave an interview with Arteta, and they asked him what went wrong in the other two games because they beat us home and away last season, and what Arteta said was, like they scored and we didn't, and we come back to this game and we scored and they didn't. So I think really that's a chance. From what I'm seeing, I'm just seeing a team that would literally outcompete anything. Whereas like we have a lot of talent in this league, a lot of great squads in this league, but I don't think anyone's on the mentality that we're at. And I mean, other than obviously City, but you see this and you look at this game, like a game like this, the Arsenal 2 seasons ago, the Arsenal a season ago would have wilted, but it's par for the course. We have the best away record this season. I'm actually even more confident when we're away than when we're not, which is an incredibly insane thing to say as an Arsenal fan. But yeah, I'm more confident when we're on the road than when we're not. Yeah.
No, I agree. It was actually a very good game, not just from a coaching standpoint, but also from a neutral standpoint. Just watching the teams go back and forth, but the team with the better quality won. The Rogers kid, that's one to look for the future. He had a dynamic game. Before we move over to the Liverpool Brentford game that ended 2-0, Ayo, do you think Trossard should be starting over Martinelli?
Oh no. So that's this is why we'll talk about it during the transfers. So
Mhm.
is one thing, and like a good analogy is, do you guys remember England when Cole Palmer came on and had the goal, and everybody
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, why didn't Cole Palmer start the game? Why didn't Cole Palmer start the game?" Cole Palmer didn't start the game because he couldn't dislodge those. What's it called? Ahead of him. It is one thing to come in when everybody's tired, right? It's one thing to come in when you've been reading the game to see where the spaces are, which is what Trossard even said himself. He said, I'm not on Facebook or Twitter when the game is happening. I'm watching. What's it called? And he's one of our best. I think he's our best closer. Don't get me wrong, he's our best finisher. But Martinelli offers us so much more in all phases of play that if we just started with Trossard, we would get overrun. And that's the thing that people don't understand in that dynamic. Like if you look, just watch his run, his industry, and how much space he covers, and how much he carries the ball so much further. It's like at the beginning of the game where both teams at full tanks, it does matter. Towards the end of the game, where the athleticism is not so much an issue because everybody is because if you think about it, like that right back has been run to the ground by Martinelli in that first 70 minutes. He's not as sharp as he was in between. Trossard is well primed to take advantage of everything that happens as a result of what the work Martinelli has done. So I would rather say that we need a winger that can combine both qualities, as opposed to Trossard should what's it called start over Martinelli, or Martinelli should what's it called start over Trossard. It might just be the case where is that we need different players for different phases, and we are really really lucky that we have those players. We need a finisher. We can count on what's it called Trossard. We need to be competitive. We can count on Martinelli. It would be nice to have someone who can do both. Yeah. Mm.
No, I agree. I'd love to see how the transfer window ends for Arsenal. I'm hearing rumors about a possible left winger coming in, so we'll talk more about that on the third segment. Sam, Liverpool Brentford. Liverpool wins 2-0. Well, Musala scores the second goal. Luis Diaz scores the first goal. What do you think about Annie Slot's first game at Anfield? What are your thoughts?
Very impressive. Musala, the man of the moment, every time always steals the show. I think the work is done in the midfield now. Very impressed with the Gravenberch again. We talked about this in our last show. He's the engine in the midfield. The difference between Gravenberch and Hendo is the fact that Hendo is more defensive minded. Um, and Gravenberch is giving Sabu Saim more opportunity to run. I saw Salas go. I didn't see the full game, but I saw Salas go, and I think we will do better. Unlike my prediction of the initial Anne Slot selection as the coach, I I want to be wrong on that. What I'm seeing is impressive, but again, the two games that we play when it comes to Premier League so far, they are not top flight teams. Where Ipswich, Ford, not the top flight team, but at the same time, not a mediocre team. I'll take that back. Not a team that you want to play with. They beat us at Anfield like maybe like 2-3 seasons ago, and it was one of our big fall. So I wasn't really nervous going into the game because I saw the first game. I saw okay the tactics, but what's concerning, despite the clean sheet, is how early you score. You can't let him get back in. That's the kind of game that you kill in the first half, my opinion. But overall, tactically, we're doing better. Defensive wise, I like what we're seeing. I like what I'm saying in the defense as well. They're really, really playing as a team. But again, the majority of the improvement is coming from the midfield. Unlike the previous coach, Jurgen Klopp, that we always, everybody knows what we used to play back then. So now we're playing a proper 4-4-3, and it's giving uh, players like Salah the opportunity to run in the middle a little bit now. I don't know, maybe because we don't play Darwin Nunes right now. We've not played him in the same capacity as a strong nine. Maybe that's why Salah is getting those run. But very impressed.
No, I agree with you. I actually watched that game this morning, and it's interesting how Annie Slot has implemented his style in a very short period of time. From a coach's standpoint, Sam, you're absolutely right. They started as a 4-3-3, but immediately after about 5 minutes, you could physically see them change to a 3-5-2. I was actually very impressed with seeing that in-game change, and they stuck with it. And it's gonna be one of those seasons where you will see any slot have a hybrid formation, a different formation how they start versus how they actually play. And I think with the addition of Darwin Nunes coming in from the bench, they might switch that around again. So I feel like it's going to be a very fluid formation for Liverpool. And it's going to, what I did like about the fact that they controlled the game, they not only kept possession, but they also had intricate plays. And I think the addition of Gravenberg sitting in that midfield as a defensive midfielder, which personally I think that's what he is. I really think that's what he is. I don't think he can play box to box, but I think he's really a defensive player that has attacking instincts. He has the ability to dictate how that flow of that game went, and I think that's one of the big things about Annie Slot and his change. Before we move over to talk about Manchester United and a little bit about Chelsea, Alexander Arnold, Sam, he looked like he was enjoying his game, but then once he got subbed off, he looked like he was upset. I personally don't like that from players. It's a squad game. You have everyone that's available to try to play and earn their spots. If you are subbed, you should be happy that you even get to play because some players don't get to play. But the whole reaction and the nanny spot having to go up and talk to him, I like that. But why do you have to make your coach have to do that in front of live television? Not a fan of that personally, but I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, definitely agree with you on attitude is not what you want to show for in a competitive sport. one, like you said, a lot of people don't get that opportunity. And also, you're also a professional. You don't need to show your reaction like that, especially if you're at Anfield, you're loved by the city. Just keep it cool. It doesn't have to be you every time. If the game is going well and the coach feels like, okay, this is the time to rest some legs, make those switches. We'll soon start Champions League now. We need more legs up there. Try to understand it. You've played more majority of the game. So definitely not a good thing, and we don't want to see that again. If I were to be the coach, I know how to handle it, but it won't be as great as what Annie Slot did. I wouldn't go and try to talk to him, calm him down. Nah, I'm just gonna focus on the game. We'll deal with it later on the back screen, and I will. I'll make sure you sit on the bench next time or start from the bench. Now you have to try to understand that we have tons of people on the team. Let's give people chances to play. You could use some rest too.
Absolutely agree. I would do the same as well too. I would handle that closed doors, and we will talk about that. And as a coaching perspective, my conversations will be keep it professional. You are starting for a reason. You earn your spot. Let's not have that happen on national TV anymore, and leave it at that. Now, if he wants to leave because there's rumors of him going to Real Madrid, so be it. But that shouldn't be happening on national TV. That's just petulance to me. Manchester United against Brighton. I always knew this was going to be one of those very technical games,
Drum roll.
and yeah, and to be honest, it wasn't as bad as I thought until the second half. First half, they actually played well. Again, missing chances. I personally felt Ten Hag was the reason for us losing this game. Well, part of it.
Could you
One is the
elaborate?
selections. See selections. Some players shouldn't be starting that game based on what I've seen in the first game. Players like Harry Maguire, I don't think they should be starting the game when you have Delit. Players like Rashford, they're not showing that they want to be starting games. I wouldn't.
I thought Delict partnered Maguire, and Maguire's moved to the right.
No, Delit came in. It
He
was
came in afterwards.
Martinez. It was Martinez and Maguire, and then Delit came in. But
Okay.
that was the first thing. Now, how they played was good. They actually kept possession. You could see a clear difference from when we played Brighton last season versus this season, where this season we're keeping possession, moving the ball up, spreading out the play. Um, it looks to me that we're going to be going to a 4-2-4 formation this season with a false nine. Okay. I thought Xerxes should have started that game and Mount on the bench, but that's the coach's choice. They controlled the game, but then again, Brighton are more technical than last season and more disciplined than last season because of the new coach, Hessler. He's 31 years old, but he has surrounded himself with very experienced coaches, and he actually gets buy-in from the players to help him make the right decisions. That's a wonderful leadership quality to have, because at the end of the day, you should surround yourself with people that know the best than you, so that they can give you the right facts and information for you to make the most educated decisions. And that's why they're top three at this point. Second half, yeah, Ahmad scored. Very happy for him. That's why he should be starting games personally. Second half, yes, we poked and prodded, but didn't really do much. And then towards the end, his substitutions were wrong. Personally, that's another thing. And we lost the game because of lack of concentration in defense. Why? First two goals, Maguire was part of it. Again, there's just some players that shouldn't be starting that game personally. And I personally wanted us to win that game 1-0, maybe score two, because I know how Brighton are. I've seen them play preseason. They're a very good team. Make no mistake. They may not have stars on that team, but they play as a unit. And when you have players that play as a unit, it is very difficult to break them down. Very difficult. So losing 2-1, I could kind of see it in the wall. And now we're meeting Liverpool next week. It's going to be interesting for Ten Hag. He has to start making the right decisions. I feel like some of the mistakes was his control. Some of the mistakes were the players. But if you make the right personnel, those mistakes will have reduced. In terms of Chelsea, let's highlight Chelsea for a bit before we move to the prediction side. I mean, Chelsea second half, guys, amigos, please let us know. But Chelsea second half and the players that came in, they played some amazing football, especially for the sixth goal. The game ended 6-2 against Wolves. And I mean, Ayo, Sam, I'd love to hear your comments on that game. The way the second half team played, they brought in folks like Neto, Joao Felix. They kept Madueke on the right, which personally I think he should be starting games moving forward. They kept Kopama. They brought in Jusby Hall. They were playing some connecting soccer and 1-2 passes. It was beautiful, right? First half, they played players that really shouldn't be starting personally. So it was a game of two halves, really. And I see, amigos, we have a new addition to the crew here. Her name is Marley. She probably be joining us from time to time. But
You
like
need
like
it for
Marley's so
as a Man U fan.
excited. Exactly. Like Marley's so excited to get the ball. Chelsea were over the ball the entire time. Ayo, quick thoughts on that Chelsea game.
I was surprised and not. The first thing that made me think was okay. My predictions like maybe there's a big hole there, a big Chelsea place hole, and I think I was harsh with them, not making them in contention for the top 8 places. But my personality hasn't changed about them. They're a team that's set to yo-yo this entire what's it called uh uh season. And a big part of this game, as much I was super impressed by Madueke, very, very impressed, but I've always rated him, is I'm not exactly sure what Wolves were doing. So in Wolves reverted to a what's it called back five. I think they were playing a what's it called
Yes.
5-3-2, and they were pushing their wing backs too high, which left the spaces what's it called on the outside open. And with that, you either don't respect those wingers, or you assume you're not going to do anything, or you make a calculated risk. But watching that game, I couldn't see the benefit of doing that, and they clearly didn't understand who Madueke was because he punished him every single time. Yeah, they keep they kept not covering him, and he kept punishing them. And I was and the sixth goal, and that when the game is gone, the game is gone. Like that's when you start when you lose discipline, you lose structure, you get passed through. So I have a feeling where it's like I look on paper and I see quality. And don't get me wrong, like Neto is a quality player. Caicedo had a wonderful game, and the Chelsea fullbacks. I don't. I really really. I Gusto is amazing, but I really really love Cucurella. Like, and I fell in love with him towards the end of last season. I fell in love with him throughout the European Championship, and I'm even falling more in love with him. This was it called uh this season as it's going through, because he has really, really high in football intelligence. You can see from the passing, his choice of passing, his choice of movement, and it shows with how much they get a lot of ball progression from the wings. Because you think they lose who's their wing the English wing back that's always injured?
Chilwell,
Daniel
Ben
James,
Chilwell.
I think, right? Is that
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, wing back,
no
Reece James.
Reece
Rich
James,
James.
sorry. Yeah, and you lose you think they lose that, and they lose a lot of industry from the wings, and they get it back from Gusto and Cucurella. So I love seeing that. The question is like anything, has this been stress tested? I don't think so. I really don't think so. But on the evidence of 2 games, because I still think they played well against Man City. They set up a lot of things very well against Man City, and with this game, I really do think Wolves played into their hands. I'm not exactly sure what the coach was assuming would happen. I'd like to really be like a fly on the wall when they were making the decisions they were making to see. Because for me, initially, I was super impressed, but the fifth goal is when I was like, okay, something's wrong here, because they did the same thing, but it was much more centrally because it shifted all the way to the left, and so he got the same space, but now he was like absolutely like centered. He
Yeah,
just like
yeah.
latched
I
it
don't
in.
know what
So,
the left
so
back and the left center back are doing there.
it shouldn't be that easy. I'll put it that way. So it's good for the fans to see. Out of the teams, I really don't like Chelsea, and I said it last time. I just don't like them. I think there because there's a duty of care for your players. There's a duty of care for anything, anybody you're responsible with. I hate all this like loyalty only flows one way, and we can have and discard. Like if they haven't violated any laws or any rules or any non-negotiables, I don't think you should treat them the way you discard them the way you discard them. Like I watched the Athletic game today, and you see Gallagher like celebrating with the Atletico Madrid team, and I was like, he hasn't even started, and look at how they're treating him. Like you have to realize that that also speaks to the quality of management. But that's neither here nor there. Very impressive. I don't think it means anything. They had a lot of five. I mean, they beat Everton 5-0 last season. Like it still doesn't mean they're not gonna. They're not gonna. Yeah, we'll see. But great game. Yeah.
I agree. But amigos, thank you so much for your time today. Please like, share, and subscribe. Let us know your thoughts about your results, predictions, and of course the transfer window ending this week. It's been a pleasure.